Got the truck all cleaned up. Looking good. Looking good. Gotta put a little bit of fuel in the tank this morning. We've loaded up the dump truck with the skid steer. It's got the ruckus rake in the back, mini excavator. We're gonna go over there and try to finish up. Well, get a lot done on that clearing job. We got a little French drain to put in, and Tyler's gonna come over a little bit later, start power raking everything as well. Try to get that finished up this week. Back over here, first thing, I see a stump. I'll get that first thing. Make that where I can see it. So we gotta finish grading all this out. I'm gonna jump on the excavator, go over there, restack that burn pile, and we'll start raking everything with the D6, cleaning everything up, and finishing this lot up. Well, considering there was 2 acres of brush piled up here yesterday, there's about 2 dump truck loads of stuff left. So I'm gonna restack that right here, and that should burn down while we tidy everything up. So I'm raking through here, getting the stuff that did not burn out, and piling it up back over here. Looks like that stack of plywood's about all that's left here in the center. So there was an old stack of plywood on a trailer up there that we hauled. I threw it in here because it was wet. I knew it was going to take a lot. And a lot of it's still here. So a lot of the stuff done, it just gets buried in the ashes. And it dries out, but it just doesn't burn because it's obviously smothered in ashes. So you kind of got to break through it, get some air to it. Keep sorting through this, and I may we got to put in a French drain up front where it stays kind of wet. I think there's a spring, or it's at least a low area. Try to get that where it drains into the pond. I can show you that later, but I think I'm gonna let him go ahead and go get a load of rock and the pipe for that while I work on pushing this with the dozer. Give me something to kind of work on while that's burning down. That's going to take him a while to go do that and get back here, so I think I'm going to let him do that, and that'll give me time to rake over all this the best I can with the D6. Get everything pushed up in a pile and dig a little bit more of a hole down there and finish burying it all. As always, never takes a lot to get that back going. Kind of raking through here, getting this mess cleaned up. Robert's down there on the D6, running around that lower pile, getting that pushed up. We'll work for a little bit while longer here, I'll take over, let him go get some rock for that French drain we got to put in. So I've got everything raked back there in the back. Robert did that with the D6. I kind of raked through it with the excavator rake. Got it stacked up. Restacked the fire. Now I'm going to cut some of this topsoil out in this last little low area. And I'm going to load, I think there's still probably room for 3 or 4 more loads in the hole that's over there. Dig it a little bit bigger, haul some more dirt right here, fill this little low area in, saving this topsoil so I can cover it back up. That'll give me a spot to haul those other ashes and leftover mess from over there. Send Robert to go get some pipe and some gravel. So we'll work on that probably after lunch. Might be able to let Tyler work on that. We'll just see how it goes. Lots to do, but I can get it, hoping to get it where I can leave him out here today and tomorrow and possibly Wednesday to kind of finish everything up. So cut back just a little bit more and start hauling that over there. Starting to dig another pit down here. I hauled that other pile right there and finish spreading that out, track that in, get that covered up. Rest will go in this hole, and then that last burn pile will go in there. I'll leave 3 or 4 loads worth of space, so once he rakes everything, that can go in the pile or be piled up and put in the hole there. Let's haul a load, go dump this out, come back, load another one. So there's kind of a valley right here. I went and I scraped all the topsoil out, piled it up over here, and I'm gonna dump this dirt down here in the bottom and then spread it out, cover it back up topsoil so grass will grow. This has been the perfect job for Barney here. It gets used a lot, and then it gets a little break, and then it gets used. And make the old truck last. The plan was to take it down to the pond build and have 2 trucks running, but the stars just haven't aligned right to make that happen. And I got another job for this truck and that to go to like 3 miles down the road from here. And that other job's like, the big pond job's like an hour away from here, so I don't know, you might just do it all with 1 truck. We'll see. We're doing the best we can. I got, let's see, Tyler coming this afternoon to hopefully help out. It's gonna be a very, very busy week.
We got gravel. Drain pipe. Trying to keep it in the driveway. That'll work. Go get one more. So if you remember when we were clearing this, it was really wet through here and it's not dried out one bit. So I think there's a spring in here. We're going to run a French drain down through this swale right here, about 2 feet deep in the ground, run a 4-inch pipe, fill it up with gravel. So I'm going to paint a little ditch right here. I'm going to end up moving that swale over so it doesn't run directly over top of that, but I'm going to paint him a line where I want him to dig, and we'll run it pretty much all the way up to the grass there by that fence and see if we can't capture some water to go down here into the pond. All right, we got the line painted right here. Tyler's here, got started digging, so he can pretty much follow this. We're going to dig it about 22 to 24 inches deep. Put a little bit of gravel in there, put the pipe in there and fill it full of gravel. Start getting this to drain. It'll be interesting to see. It'll probably take a couple of days for it to start getting all the way down there, or it could be surprised. It could go ahead and start flowing out. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna head back to the back here now and start moving those ashes to the hole I just dug. right, so as you saw, we got the trench dug, pipe put in here. I'm gonna put the gravel all the way to the surface right here, and we'll just kind of slick it up. Eventually the grass will just grow over it. I'll let everything drain into it that'll possibly go into it. We can go back there and start working on the rest of those ashes. Loading out the ashes here, taking them over there to the other, well, where the old barroom pit was, and I'm picking out the last few things that didn't burn. I'll throw it in the fire pile over there. That can burn up while I go and dig the hole a little bit bigger. Blowing that direction right there will be okay. Just got to be fast. Get it in the truck. A lot of people ask why you just not dig a hole right here and burn it in a hole or bury it right here. Well, they really don't need this right here in the middle of the horse pasture. If they ever do a barn or something, you can't build over top of an area you've buried all this crap. So I tend to do this stuff, bury it in corners somewhere where nothing's ever going to be built, or on a property line kind of, and that doesn't leave you a whole lot of room to burn, but it leaves you this part right here. That's great. Dump that. Everything's all dusty. Let's just make a loop. See how much ran into the hole full of water and filled the hole up while I was gone. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see the bottom from here or not. Probably not. Oh yeah, there's some in there. Well, we did a horrible job lining up there. Let's try again. Tried to drive too close to the hole to see how much had ran into it. We're gonna try to back up here and not back off into it. Set the park brake. Let it go. Big plume. Go get another one. Alright, we're gonna load 2 more loads of dirt here, go get lunch, come back and start filling this in. That ashen mess. I swear, the more and more I move dirt with the 350, this is like a death sentence now, loading the truck with the 220. It just seems like it takes forever. But we use what we got. More, that'll be good. Got water coming in. Filling up. Well, I'm not a fan that the wind just decided to change. Really, it was blowing great that way. As soon as I turned the camera on, 180, back this way. Guess it'd be like that sometimes. We'll load from this section of the pile. Let's see, is it starting to blow that way now? Scoop the real dry stuff when the wind blows the opposite way. Now it changed. But you can tell this stuff is dusty because it was on fire yesterday. Very dusty. Tried to mix a little bit of dirt in there and with it, but it doesn't really seem to have helped much. Maybe I need to set the truck up in that direction. As soon as I do, the wind will start blowing back this way. Like clockwork. Can't see the truck. And now the wind blows away. Of course, it's the time the truck's full. I can't put anything else in here. Let's go dump it. Those ashes were brutal, but we got all of them moved there. And I'm gonna rake back a little bit more of this topsoil. I'm gonna let Robert try to knock it down with the D6. Tyler's still over there putting the gravel over top of the French drain. I'm gonna go up here and put a little bit of fuel in this machine. Go over there and take the ashes, kind of rake them down, get that tracked in. And if we need to haul a couple more loads, or 3 or 4 to make the hole a little bit bigger, we'll go ahead and do that. Dump that dirt out here, and then he can spread this back over top of it to cover it up. Topsoil, but it's enough. Through it with the rake and knock those piles down and try to track it in a little bit. Do the rest with the skid steer.
So much to do. I really wish I had 2 smaller dozers, because it seems like I always need 2 of them, one on a different job site. Those old dozers are great, but it's very hard to find grade with them. They're just big and clumsy and wore out. It's hard to, at least it is for me, to carry a nice grade with it. But they push, by golly, do they push and brush. Alright, finish this up. Got the rake back on the excavator. He's gonna push down those 4 loads. We dug 4 more loads out to have a spot to bury all the stuff Tyler's going to rake up with the ruckus rake. He'll spread that out and I'll track that in, and we'll spread all the topsoil back over top of it. I'm gonna go up here. There's a few kind of just random humps in the pasture, and just kind of rake those down, because we're gonna take the D6 with us today. And that'll just leave him the skid steer and the excavator here to kind of level stuff up with. Making it work. Getting all that topsoil spread out. Still got one little bit of fire out there. Must have been a hot ash right there. Caught back on fire. You don't spread that out. Tyler will come back through here, grade all this out, slick it up. We got to go work on our big pond the rest of the week, but at least we were able to get over here, get all that burnt, and this dirt knocked down. Well, this project is a wrap. Got all the equipment brought up here. I need to take the 220 over there and shovel it off before it leaves. But Tyler spent the last couple days over here. I gotta show you that other area over there. He's got all that done. We got the French drain put in, and we raked it with the dozer before leaving. And he spent the last 2 days over here grading over all this with the skid steer and running the ruckus rake over it. So all this is good to go for pasture. So I think next year they're going to get me to do a horse arena right here. This is a pretty nice and flat spot for that. And we went ahead, while I was here, they got me to clear a couple more acres back here for some pasture. I'm eventually going to do a horse barn, figure out where that's going to go. Probably somewhere up on that ridge over there, I would say. But no, that turned out real well. I like it. And this one's done. Off to the next one. And this section over here, let me walk down here and get in the shade and show you. This turned out really well. I gotta tear the well house down. Tyler accidentally hit it with the skid steer and knocked it off the foundation, so I'm gonna take that down and buy them a new fiberglass rock to go over top of it. You know, got to make things right. Things happen. But he was fine with that, so I'm gonna take that down and pile it up. We'll dig a hole and bury that block. But he was able to get all this power raked, and that is the French drain we put in there to catch any of this surface runoff water. And so far it looks like it's doing its job. Everything's dry now. So all this used to be trees, and that old mobile home right there was right there. Got all that cleaned up, and yeah, gonna look good with some grass in it.